How's it going?
Things are going good, man. How about you?
I'm good. I was shopping the other day, and I know you say I have 1,000 stories of ridiculousness, and this is going to be one of them.
Please do share.
So I'm in the store and I go into a bathroom, as we've talked about before.
Yeah.
I'm in there all by myself, and over the PA, I hear code 61 in the men's washroom. Code 61 in the men's washroom.
No way. You're bullshitting me.
No. And so I'm like, I'm all alone in the bathroom. So now I think one of two things is happening. One, they think I've stolen something or I'm doing something bad in the bathroom.
Which you probably are.
Or two, some serious shit's going to go down. So I think they're talking about me. And this happens to me. It doesn't have to be the bathroom, but that's what it was yesterday. But I'll be at whatever store and I hear them say over the PA, I'll be in the granola bar aisle by myself, aisle 6 at the grocery store. And then they come on and they're like, code 19 in aisle 6, code 19 in aisle 6.
That has never happened to me.
And I look around because I'm
Never.
like, I'm the only fucking dude in aisle 6. And I'm like, what is it about me? So I feel like either people think I'm a criminal or
You're just paranoid.
Well, see, I've come to the conclusion after I did sleep last night, but I did think about this before I went to sleep. It's usually a woman's voice. So I feel like maybe these code numbers are like stud muffin categories, right? Where they're like stud muffin in aisle 6, stud muffin just went into the bathroom so that they can come and check me out later.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Average guy in aisle 3. Average guy in 3.
Welcome to Taming the Hustle.
Or something of the sorts.
Everybody wants a piece of me. I'm a lonesome man making history. They say we're all just raindrops in a stream.
What are we talking about today, boss? You are the leader.
You know what? I am the leader. I feel like I'm making people drink the Kool-Aid when you say it like that. We're going to talk about bouncing operations of your business and marketing. If you're a small business owner out there, you have thought about doing marketing and said, I don't have time because I'm too busy with my operations. And vice versa. You are not busy with operations and you're trying to do marketing and you're saying, you know what, maybe I should spend more time on operations. So I kind of want to talk about that. And then I'm going to ask you some questions because there is a gap in the operations that I want to talk about that I know is an important part of operations that often gets forgotten about as well.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you should.
So tell me your thoughts.
So here's the thing. Operations and marketing have to go hand in hand. It's that simple. If you're not doing marketing, it's hard to bring in new clients or new customers, no matter how good your business is. If no one knows it, then it doesn't matter, right? And then
You can't have one without the other.
Exactly. I do have, it's like Al Bundy. I got my hand in my pants right now.
Nice.
And then same goes on the other side. If you have bad operations, no amount of marketing can help your operations if they're poor.
I think you weren't joking about that. You usually talk with your hands a lot, and I haven't seen any hand action at all.
There's my spirit fingers.
Pervert.
I am talking with my hands just under the table at the moment.
I'm at a different spot today, too. I got set up in One Simple Girl's office today, so
Nice.
cozy.
Nice. You should just start putting makeup on while we talk.
Yeah, I have. I put some makeup on just to have a better presentation for our podcast.
So as I was saying, the best marketing can get people there, but if you shit the bed with your operations, they're not coming back. Or when they're there, they're not buying, whether it's on a website or in person. And I think we've both been in that situation where we've been to a store and or on a website and you see that it's like, wow, this is shitty how it's run.
Totally. And like so many facets in business, it's a balancing act, right?
Exactly. And the difference really, because I know people actually have said this to me where I say, you need to do marketing and not just operations. And they say, isn't marketing part of operations? And it's really not. Marketing is actually making a promise to your customers who purchase your product or service, whereas operations is fulfilling that promise. Sometimes people get those mixed up where they think marketing is part of operations when it's really not, right? And so I'm not going to go into, we say this every podcast that we're not going to dive too deep into this. It's for a bigger topic, bigger
We got to keep it
conversation.
lighthearted, right? And at the end
Exactly.
of the day, your clients are like mine. They need some tailored advice, and that's why they have to call you and ask the specifics pertaining to their business, for sure.
Exactly. And my last point I'll make, we'll touch on that, but let's just get this started. So how do you manage both is basically the question people are asking, right? And the first thing is to take baby steps. Don't try to build a marketing strategy and content overnight while managing your busy operations. If that's what you're going to try to do, you're like, I'm going to go balls out on this. It's not going to work. You're going to fail. You're not going to have the time. You're going to stress over both.
Man, you remember just our recent conversation we had about the evolution of my marketing strategy and the relationship that you and I have at a more professional or business level. It's just, yeah, you can't create the perfect marketing strategy and just unveil it and everything is hunky dory. It just doesn't work that way.
Exactly. Not everything has to happen at once, right? Or all right away.
Or should happen at once.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the things I like to do with my own company, and I tell clients this all the time that we do consulting with, where we don't build their content, they build their own, but we kind of walk them through the process of what they should do each month,
Right.
is that book an appointment for yourself. And so, literally, in your daily calendar, I have clients who they write that they're meeting with and they make up a fake name. And they put that fake name. I'm meeting with John Doe, or I'm meeting with, one guy actually writes that he's meeting with Ryan Reynolds because he really likes Ryan Reynolds.
My wife books herself off with me,
Yeah.
but it's never with
It's
me.
never with
So
you.
I'm wondering what the fuck is going on here. Should I be concerned?
That's so funny.
But that is a good trick, though.
Well, and that's the thing, because if you have it in your calendar, a lot of times you're going to stick to it. If it's not in your calendar, you're going to find a reason why not to do that, right?
Or get sidetracked with the operations, right?
Exactly. It's and that
We're all victims of that.
Yes. And if you have a phone that, you're putting your calendar in, you have alerts, you have the first alert, second alert. If you're in the middle of something and you get that alert, like in 20 minutes, you have an appointment with Ryan Reynolds, in your mind, you should stick to that, but you're like, oh, I'm just too busy. And then you get that second alert and you're like, damn it. Yeah, you're right. I should go. Right. And then go and sit down and start doing it. Right. And so that leads me into the next part of how do you do the marketing when you walk away from operations? Because I think, honestly, everyone is good at their operations if you started a business. That's the reason you started the business, because you're the professional. Whereas marketing, that's not your forte. It's not many people's forte, except for if you are a marketer.
It's foreign to most people, indeed.
Oh, exactly. So if you're going to try to do marketing on your own, you need to start with a calendar and start planning. And I always tell clients that, and they always like look at me and their eyes get wide and their mouth drops, where I say, grab a calendar and make a plan for the year. When I say those words, their jaw hits the floor. And then I say, well, hold on. I don't mean you have to build content for the year. I don't mean you have to come up with every idea for the year. All you need to do is look at a calendar, take a 30-day calendar and say, every Monday, I'm going to do a Facebook post. Every Wednesday, I'm going to take that time to create content, whether that's an ad, whether that's a video, whether that's an explainer video of one of your products, whether that's taking photos of your shop or your business or whatever. You have a calendar set that you're going to do stuff on set days. And if you don't have time, and this is my kind of final point, if you don't have time to do marketing aside from your operations, if you honestly can't find the time, you need to find somebody who has that time, who has that expertise. And depending where you are in your business, and this takes away from, I guess, people calling companies like myself, where if you can't afford it because you're just starting out and you're saying, okay, I want to do it on my own because that's all I have, but I can't because I don't have the time, then find someone, find a volunteer, find that marketing student who's taking marketing in college. There's many different people. You have one employee and they're good at Facebook, then make that part of their job, right?
Yeah, exactly. It could be as simple as your child, right? Because
Exactly.
you have a teenage kid who knows
Yep.
everything about every social media platform.
Exactly.
If your child says Facebook is dead to me, you know that they're current with social media because they're doing
Exactly.
Snapchat, Instagram, and whatever.
You know
else.
what? I've done this before where I've had a client who said, I want to go on TikTok and I want to hit the younger generation. how do I do that? And we do deal with TikTok, but it was such a niche kind of market that I actually brought my daughter, who was 11 years old at the time, who uses TikTok religiously, who got kicked off of TikTok because they found out she wasn't 12 years old.
No, that sucks.
It was a traumatic night. But I brought her in to talk to my client to say, these are the things that kids like. These are the things that you should use and that you should do. And this is what will get you likes on TikTok. So it doesn't have to be always. And again, I'm taking business away from my own company by saying this. If you can't afford the good stuff, I'm calling myself the good stuff.
You got the right stuff, baby.
Yeah, I wish I was a new kid on the block.
Hashtag call Darryl.
If you can't afford that or you don't have time or whatever, you just have to do something, please.
Your business will only be as successful as the time and effort that you put into it. I mean, oh man, marketing is not the core of our business. Marketing is a means for us to get people to know us, right? And I spend like over and above what you do for our team. I mean, you know how much time I spend on, the creative thought process and how to, better brand ourselves and how to better position ourselves. And I go to you with these stupid ideas and you find a way to make sense of them. But even if you're do-it-yourselfer at the beginning of, your business strategy, you're only as good as the time that you're willing to put into your efforts, for sure.
Exactly. And if you do have the time to create some marketing, don't do it alone. Still use those people because they're a springboard, right? They're a bouncing board. You're going to say ideas to them and they're going to say, oh, that's not good. Or, you will say something to them and they're like, oh, that's a great idea. But what if you did this? And all of a sudden now something spun out of nothing and here you are, right?
But getting back to your original comment, though, is how do you balance that? Right? Because I think what you're trying to say is don't get lost in the marketing because then you forget about your operations and that could affect profitability and success. But if you forget about marketing, you may have a great product or a great service. If no one knows about it, it doesn't really matter.
It's imperative to do marketing for your operations. With that, my final point here is that they have to go hand in hand. So you have to make the time. You have to book that time in your calendar for yourself for marketing.
It totally depends what you want too, right? Because just to be the devil's advocate, and instead of having this fear that you're going to run your business to the ground, I've observed business owners that I work with that are doing quite well without any marketing.
Yep.
But as an outsider, you can't help but observe that if they had any type of marketing strategy, they could just take that success or that business to the next level, right?
Great point. I'm glad you brought that up, is because marketing isn't just for new customers.
Totally.
So their business might be thriving and it's doing well, but if even they took that opportunity to market, and it doesn't have to be a flashy ad, there's different types of marketing you can do. It could be sending an article of what great food to cook this weekend to your clients. That's marketing. And that tells your clients or your customers like, wow, they care about me.
Make yourself known.
Exactly. They might not have purchased that week, but because you sent that article, you're now fresh in their mind and they're going to, oh yeah, I should go in there this week.
Yeah, for sure. And not being afraid to show your true colors. Because for the most part, from what I've also observed from business owners, is their business is often a reflection of who they are as a person.
Exactly.
So there's, it's very important for us to humanize ourselves in our businesses.
So speaking of marketing and advertising, let's take a break.
As another year comes to a close, we reflect on the year that was and what we can do in the year ahead. If making an impact on the world is on your list, well, we've made that part easy.
Hashtag call René, responsible investment specialist of St. Cyr and Associates.
Hey, welcome back.
This is René.
And Darryl. We should say our names more often.
Darryl.
No, I'm Darryl.
I know. I'm René.
Just making sure you're still aware of that.
No, I was going to do like an introductory where I'm like, this is Darryl.
Oh, this is Darryl. Okay, let's try it again. Go ahead and I'll be ready this time.
Or we can go, I'm with my friend Darryl, marketing guru.
Oh. And I'm with René, my certified financial planner.
Super important.
So let's change the subject. We were just talking about the importance of marketing and operations and how to balance the two. Now, I want to pick out a little piece of operations that I think a lot of businesses forget about, even when they start up and they're trying to plan their business, they forget about it. And then into operations, they forget about it. And into retirement, they forget about it. Why is a certified financial planner important to my business?
Yeah. And I love how business owners, I would say 100% of the time when I start working with them, whether they're strangers, whether they're friends of mine or family, I'll bring up their corporation, I'll bring up their business, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm fine at that end. You know what? I got my corporation set up and my account's looking after everything. What you fail to recognize, however, is that we're completely separating your personal life from your business life. And we're acting like the silos of the healthcare system in Canada. If your personal life is not speaking with your business life, you can be in pretty big trouble.
Oh, for sure.
What I often refer to myself as a financial planner who specializes with the business market, we're essentially the quarterback of the business owner's a team of advisors. Because so often we have the accountant that's doing a great job for the client, but not necessarily communicating with the lawyer unless it's them sending them a letter of instructions for a new corporation or something. The lawyer will then look after the client as well. And whoever's investing or managing their assets is going to do their thing and probably do a great job. But if no one's communicating, it probably wouldn't take too much for the wheels to fall off.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more.
That's why it becomes really important to have this financial planner in the picture and including your business assets and having that conversation about your business, your corporate structure, the way you see things unfolding with your success, and also how you see things wrapping up when you're ready to sell the business. So another analogy, Darryl, that seems very fitting for what our role is in a business owner's financial life is just imagine a new build. So you're building your dream home on the lake and you hire a general contractor or like a site super. Well, we become that person where we make sure that we're in charge of creating the right blueprint for the client, which is your financial plan. Then we connect all the dots with the electrician, with the plumber, with the concrete guys who are going to do your basement, septic bed, whatever, bringing hydro in from the road. Making sure that all of those pieces come together in harmony is essentially what we do as financial planners. If you have assets that are corporately owned versus personally owned, they're going to be taxed differently at retirement. So when we develop a long-term strategy, we have to be mindful of how your corporate structure is set up.
Yeah.
And there's good reason why the accountant does that. But the advisor has to be mindful of that so that they can adjust your plan accordingly. And also how you sell your business. So, with the risk of being a little bit all over the place with subjects here, and that's why you have to be having these conversations with your CFP, is that if you have a business that you plan on selling that will qualify for the lifetime capital gains exemption, and you have a potential buyer that wants to buy your assets as opposed to buying your shares, you're going to have a significantly different tax consequence. So you're going to have to adjust your financial plan according to those changes.
The old CFP, yeah, you know me.
A CFP, yeah, you know me.
So what we talked earlier about the marketing end of things, and I say, if you're too busy to do it yourself, hire somebody. But marketing can be done yourself, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here in a sense with my own self, because I've learned this over the years throughout just trying to run my business and the operations and the finances. And I've seen clients do the same thing, is that, I'm kind of dumbing myself down here, is you can do marketing yourself. It might not be good, but you could do it yourself. Tell me why, and I think this is true, is that you should never fucking do your finances. Like, to try to quarterback that whole picture yourself. I don't want to call anybody dumb, but I've done this myself, is that trying to do that finances and do that quarterback stuff on your own and worry about operations and worry about marketing and worry about your entire business and worry about your home life is just too much of a risk to take. Am I right?
You're totally right. And you're not dummying yourself down, Darryl. We work with some highly intelligent and some very highly functional and successful people.
He's talking about me.
And, and our other clients. And I don't know anyone that has a thorough understanding of what we do. And at the advisory level, you're not going to find any accountant that's going to do that type of legwork for you as a holistic approach as we would. They're experts at what they do. And we work closely with the accountants, and the lawyers as well too will do their piece of the puzzle, but no one oversees the entire project to make sure all of the wheels are turning.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
But seriously though, like, a successful business owner is not going to be doing their own planning and making sure that all of this is working in synchrony. They're going to focus on being the driving force of the success of their business and ensure that they continue to drum up business, that, contractors continue to get contracts to build new homes, that, you can continue to sell snowmobiles and
Yeah.
vehicles and whatever it is that you're in business for. You're not going to be sitting there developing your own financial strategy and trying to understand the complexities of the Canadian tax system. I've been in business 23 years. I learn something new every day. And this is
I know.
all I do day in and day out.
I tell clients all the time, if there's ever a day where I say I know it all in marketing, that's the day you need to call me out, and that's when I retire, because I don't know it all. And when I retire, it's because I'm full of shit at that point.
So is there a difference between you saying you know it all and you being a know-it-all?
According to my wife, no.
Let's be clear. You fucking know it all.
I hear that so often. That's why I say you know a lot, because I already know it all.
Yeah, you know. You
know?
don't. You goofball. So listen, just to recap, because I know I was a little bit all over the place today, but that's largely in part because I get really excited about this stuff.
That's a good point. You were all over the place, but that's how businesses are.
Yeah.
So that's a great point. It's like you're showing exactly what we're preaching, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Even in our own business, where you start the year with a certain direction and a certain strategy, and by the end of the year, you're looking back saying, holy man, that was like nothing that I had planned.
Exactly.
But if you have a really good team of advisors that can steer you right and just be sort of at the high level to oversee things and to just give you the right advice when you're growing your business and to better prepare you for when it's time to sell and develop that retirement strategy and potentially a huge estate strategy if you're developing this monstrosity of a business, right? So, we have clients that have spent a lifetime building an empire and have more money than they're ever going to spend. How do we figure out a way to put more money in your family's pockets when you go than leaving a whack ton of money to the Canadian government? I mean, we have a responsibility as Canadians to pay tax, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're as tax efficient as possible with our own wealth accumulation so that we can preserve that wealth. That's where we come in.
I don't like the term responsibility to pay tax. I feel more like I'm forced to pay tax.
Yeah. But imagine if you didn't.
I know.
The way the healthcare system would look and the infrastructure of our communities.
Exactly. And it's
look at the amount of accidents you see in your area, buddy. Imagine if there weren't any street lights.
Oh boy, don't even talk to me about it. Well, mind you, if there was no street, I guess there'd still be accidents, which mean there'd still be traffic, and I'd still be yelling at people through my car windows. Yeah. So no, I guess you're right.
Yeah. And we probably shouldn't get into politics on this podcast because we could probably get pretty heated up. And
don't get me worked up, René. Don't get me worked up.
I could tell through the video he's wound up like a fucking cheap Timex. I love it.
Hey, let's take a break. And I want to talk about something that you have absolutely no problem with at all in life and something that I struggle with in life.
Cursing.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Pissing people off. Come on, don't leave me hanging. There's so many things I'm good at.
Well, you're going to find out on the other side. We'll be back.
The dark side.
Dear Santa, here's my wish list. But we need to talk about something more important. You've been working over 1,600 years. It's time to think about retirement, but not this year. I really want a new laptop.
It's never too late to start planning. Hashtag call René of St. Cyr and Associates.
Hey, I love those ads. I have to say that was a good one.
It's not just because you're my best bud and you're a really good marketing consultant, Darryl, but the marketing strategy and the brand that we've developed is nothing short of genius, in my opinion. I'm so fucking proud of what we've done.
Thanks. And me too.
I like to
think
think
it's
I
awesome.
had some input there. Like, we're a really good team, but I don't know where to fucking go with my ideas.
No,
So
you have put input. I remember there was maybe about 7 months ago, you called me and said, I have a quick idea for you. And every now and then you got something.
every 7 months. Fuck you, asshole.
Just kidding. Hey, I want to talk about, I mentioned that you're really good at this and I struggle at it. And I know a lot of people struggle at it, is getting active and start exercising.
you know what? It's not as easy for me as you would think. It's a very mindful process. You have to be dedicated and just have to say,
For
fuck it,
sure.
I'm doing it. I don't want to work out any more than you do. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
enjoy once I start pumping iron, but there's days where I just want to go home, put my feet up with a glass of wine.
And I think for you, you've never, I think since the age of what, you were just out of the womb that you started working out.
Yeah, my mom actually had to have a C-section because I come out of the womb with a pair of dumbbells and a crate of eggs.
I believe the eggs part for sure.
I started working out when I was 11. Can you imagine? My two older brothers are 7 and 9 years older than me, and they were just at the tail end of high school when I was like just attempting to hit puberty. And so it was like monkey see, monkey do, right? We were in the basement with, remember those old, they were gold colored plates
Yeah,
and they were filled
plastic.
with cement.
Exactly.
That's how fucking broke we were, right? But we had them and they were secondhand. But I'm telling you, we pushed those weights around all the time. And we had these mirrors in my brother Ron's bedroom. And next thing you know, you're learning the pose and you're looking at magazines because, of course, the internet didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
And so I was 12 before they let me start working out. And the owner of the gym started to train me and made sure that I was using the right form and technique so that I wouldn't hurt myself at such a young age. Of course, I was going through probably the biggest growth spurt of my life, right?
Yeah.
So it just became habitual. It became a part of my identity.
For sure.
It's just what I do. And I'm so happy that I took up those habits because those have been life habits that are probably going to help me out at some point in the future when I get old and gray.
And that's how we met, is that I got a job around the same age and working at the desk at the gym.
Yep.
Because it was a family run business of my sister-in-law's family. And that's how we kind of started. And so I feel like I should have the bodybuilder body as well, just like you did, but I don't.
Well, we connected at a different level. It's not like we started working out together. We just had very stupid and dark humor in common.
Yeah.
That we probably spent most of our relationship at the gym fucking laughing about stupid shit instead of you working out with me.
Exactly.
I apologize for that. I should have grabbed you by the ear and
I know.
threw you under a bar and had you do some bench pressing.
Yeah, and I want to make a quick point just to people out there because it's I've coached hockey for many years and you know that, and I'm not going to get on a hockey rant for you.
Please don't.
I know you love it, but
I probably shouldn't say that because some of my clients won't like. I don't hate hockey. I just, you know what, I grew up in a family that was all about hunting and fishing, and organized sports just wasn't our thing.
Yeah.
And I never really connected with that, and it's nothing wrong with hockey. I know you chirp me about it all the time.
Yeah. And but in hockey, it's like we have like kids who are 11 and 12 and 13 years old who are starting to become high level athletes. And I always get this where parents say, I'd like to get them to start working out, but I know it's going to stunt their growth and it harms them. And we're not doctors, so don't take this as medical advice.
We are not doctors,
but at the same time, any hockey player ever played against who lived on a farm, who helped their parents with, moving fucking bales of hay, and, they were always working and not physically lifting dumbbells, but were actually doing physical stuff and hard ass labor.
Very, very labor intensive chores for sure.
Yeah.
There's nothing
I've
wrong
never
with that
met
type of hard
one
work.
that was like stunted growth who ended up being 5'4" because they lifted bales of hay, they were carrying bags of grains or whatever.
It's usually the opposite. They're usually monsters.
They're giants,
like 6'2".
Exactly. So I always say,
guns.
I always tell parents, I'm like, they can work out just properly, and exactly what you said with the gym owner. Make sure it's done properly, and stuff like that. But I want to talk about how guys like me, the average Joe, or the average Darryl, how to get active and start exercising, because I struggled with this for many years. I still struggle with it, and I'm getting better, and I'm learning. As it sounds stupid, but I feel like I could write a how-to book now, and I'm motivated. I've been working out, I've been doing stuff, and it's all because of these little changes I've made that have kind of done that.
Let's hear them. See if I can relate.
So the first one for me was, and this sounds silly, but dress for it. Dress for the occasion.
That does sound silly. but it does work.
It does. And I think it's just, you're going to work out, so don't wear your nice clothes because you don't want to ruin them. You don't want to get them all sweaty. And so I would wear that t-shirt I got out of a beer case, or, the pair of shorts that I sleep in and I'll still wear to work out. I used to try to do that. And when I would get into like my area where I'm working out, whether it's at home or I go to the gym and I have these shitty shorts on and a crappy t-shirt.
The shitty shorts is because you shit your pants doing squats.
Exactly. But
Let's
you just
be real.
don't feel, you just don't feel good about yourself. You're looking in the mirror and you're trying to find something good about yourself while you're at the gym and you look like shit.
Do you remember when we used to cut t-shirts out and make them into string tank tops? That was like the big thing in the early 90s.
Exactly. And
what are the pants? Easy wear? What are they called?
Easy wear. I think it was easy wear.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Reminiscing.
Those ugly pants.
I
man.
totally agree. Like to me, clothing was everything. And like, not to name brands, but for me, Under Armour and Lululemon like revolutionized the way I felt at the gym. It really did make a difference.
Same.
Like on the days where I felt fat or out of shape, I'd show up in a sweater, right? It wasn't always because I wanted to keep the heat in, because sometimes you want to break a good sweat when you're pumping iron, but sometimes you just want to hide that shit. When you felt good, you wore the good stuff. So clothing, apparel is really important to me too. It does sound stupid, but whatever, man.
It does. And you know how I take everything over the top. So I've actually started to try to design my own brand of like clothing that I could wear that I'll just be happy. I'm not selling it. It's more of, I want to design it. I want to get it made. And it's like, I can have this look and be happy and be like, I look good. And now I'm working out. Look at me curling these dumbbells. I look damn good doing it. And when you feel good, you're going to do it, right? Everything I'm going to say sounds idiotic. And I promise you it is idiotic, but it works.
What's new?
This one is, to me, the most idiotic thing I could possibly do. And it drives me crazy and I hate it, but I do it.
I've seen you do some stupid things. So you've got my curiosity.
When you are unmotivated to work out, I want you to take a picture of yourself in the mirror and just be in your underwear. You don't have to be naked, but be in your underwear. And don't look at it that day. I want you to look at it the next day. And when you look at that photo, I don't give a shit if you look like Dwayne Johnson and you are ripped, and he'll attest to this, I'm sure. You will look at that picture and be like, I got to work out. And you will be motivated because you saw that picture and you're like, fuck that. I can do better than that.
Or that you're happy with what you're seeing and it motivates you to keep going, to keep it up.
It's going to be different for everyone. But I can tell you right now, that photo in your underwear might even be that you need new underwear. That might be the motivation right there.
I've never used that as a trick, I have to admit.
You're going to have to try it.
Don't share your pictures with me to try to motivate me to go to the gym, please.
Right. I won't send you pictures of me in my underwear.
Keep that shit to yourself.
The other thing is creating a space. So like, we've lived through a pandemic now, and granted the gym is awesome, but if you are not motivated or you're not a person who likes to go to the gym,
or you can't,
because
of the pandemic.
Yeah. Create a space for yourself, whether that's a basement, a spare room, or buy one of those partitions and partition off part of your living room just to find a little space to do yoga. Doesn't matter what it is.
Some people can't do that, Darryl. And my trick to them would be to use the outdoor space as a means for you to exercise.
Exactly. And you have to think small, right? For me, I struggle going to the gym or working out because I'm more of I'd rather play a sport to get my exercise. And if that's what you do, then do it. Go for a walk, ride a bike, play hockey, join a local sports. Like me and a buddy once, we joined a co-ed adult sports league that played, it was kids games. So it was dodgeball, floor hockey, soccer, baseball, something different every week.
Oh, that's cool.
When I pitched it to him, he's the same as me and he hates to go to the gym. And I said, do you want to do this? And he's like, are you kidding me? We're not children. And so then when we did it, it was so awesome. And he's like, hey, should we sign up for the next one? And so it's a great thing. I've gotten better at working out. And with that was figuring out what I actually like. So do I like to ride a bike? Fuck no. But do I like to sit on a rowing machine? Yeah, I could row all day. I bought my wife a rowing machine for Christmas.
Row, row, row your boat. Whatever works, man.
Well, that's the thing. And you could be sneaky about it, right? I bought my wife a rower for Christmas. but I love to row. And so she was like, oh, we need some more exercise equipment. And we got it. So she got a nice rowing machine, but I'll probably use it more than anybody because that's what I actually enjoy doing for cardio.
So you've got 3 points.
Yeah.
You got to dress for it. Your second point is take pictures of yourself, whether you like yourself or not. And third point is to have some sort of designated space that will make it easier and possibly more attractive to do whatever it is you're doing.
Exactly.
And another thing for me, and I think you'll probably agree with that, is hide your phone. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's nothing like a buzzkill because my situation with the pandemic is that we have a home gym set up at the office. So my routine now is like I used to go to work out early in the morning. I'd go home for a nice shower and then I would come back to work for the day. And for me, that's what typically works best.
Yeah.
But adjusting to that with the pandemic is that we work all day in the office and then we bring our gym close to the office and Megan and I work out. The worst thing is that you're still transitioning out of your workday and you're getting these emails,
Yeah.
texts, and phone calls. You just got to turn that phone off, put it in another room. Like we use my phone for music with our speaker. You just got to you got to figure out a way to either put it on airplane mode or put things on mute or whatever. That's very distracting and it could be a real buzzkill.
There's a guy at the gym when I used to go to the gym and not work out at home that he would have his phone and he'd be doing the elliptical or he'd be on a treadmill and he would stop every time he got an email or a text message to reply. And at one point I said to him, I feel like you do more texting than you do working out. And he laughs like, yeah. He's like, if you ever see me stop and just give me a little tap on the ass and I'll keep going. And it's like, but it's true, right? It's you get distracted. It's you grab your phone and you literally stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm just going to send this quick text. And that quick text turns into something else. So that's a great point.
Well, like, I mean, it's not just a, hey, how are you? Or a yes answer.
Yeah,
It then becomes a full conversation and you're losing 10, 15 minutes of your workout.
exactly.
Workout doesn't have to be hours long.
No,
You put in 30 minutes, 45 minutes in a day and you put some good effort into it. You can get a good sweat on and just go home and call it a day. Just text later.
And something you've taught me is, if you have that time to actually do a workout, that's great. But if you don't have time, if you have 10 minutes, you've told me this before. We've been talking. You're like, I said, oh, I wish I could get working out. And you're like, well, what's stopping you? And I'll say the time. And you're like, can you chat for the next 10 minutes? And I'll say yes. And you'll say, okay, hang up with me and go for a walk,
Yeah,
right?
anything.
It's like find something, move that body.
There's times where I really didn't have time to work out. And,
Yeah.
You're talking about the guy on the treadmill.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's better than nothing. Like I try to avoid it, but there's been
True.
times where I did like a quick weight training session and then I jump on a treadmill or a bike and I work while I'm exercising. I mean, as long as I'm not
Yeah.
huffing and puffing trying to have a conversation with someone, I could be responding to emails and texts while you're sitting on a stationary bike, or even if you're walking on a treadmill on a high grade and you're just huffing and puffing and just
For
working
sure.
as you go. It's better than nothing. It's better
Yep.
than nothing.
And before we go, I got to make this last point because I know my wife listens to these podcasts. Is sex is great exercise. It really gets the heart going. It makes you feel good about yourself, and will help you work out whether it's that day, the next day, whatever. So, food for thought.
Well, for me, there's nothing like sex to get you in the right headspace too, right?
Exactly.
It's like medicine. It's like therapy.
And again, put your phone away. You don't need your phone.
So your question at the beginning was, how do you get motivated to work out?
Yeah.
You just have to do it. You have to make it a priority. And it doesn't have to become a career. And you don't have to be ready for a competition or run a marathon. Just go for a jog. Just get
Yep.
out there and be active. For me now, as I'm aging, is I just want to stay fit, to stay healthy enough to be able to grow old with some quality of life, to make sure
Yeah.
that I, keep my weight under control, to try to reduce chances of, problems like diabetes and whatnot, high blood pressure and cholesterol problems. And I don't want to feel guilty having a glass of wine, knowing that
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
put some sweat in at the gym and burnt a bunch of calories. Life is about a balance. And I think that exercise should be part of everyone's life.
Exactly. For me, I've ditched the scale. I've learned that I shouldn't be chasing a number. I just want to look in the mirror and say, oh, I look good, or I want to feel good. I want to wake up in the morning and say, look, I feel good. It's that's my final point. Listen, I'm going to I'm not going to work out right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go have a coffee.
I actually made a date with Megan to meet me here when the podcast recording was done so we can do a leg workout. So
You got to one-up me, eh?
Yeah.
You got to one-up
And
me
then
right
we're
at the
going
end of the
outside.
show.
I'm a one-upper. My brothers call me one-upper all the time. I don't even do it on purpose.
Fine.
It is what it is. I am who I am.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to have a coffee and I'm going to jump on my wife's rowing machine. So
There you go.
how's that?
See?
Yeah.
I wasn't an upper. I was a motivator. So fuck
That's
you. You're welcome.
Whatever you got to tell yourself. All right. Thanks for joining us. It's been a slice. I think we learned some good stuff today. What do you think?
I agree.
It's funny. People think we just are talking on here to preach something, but I think we learn off each other, which is something I love about our podcast.
Absolutely. I learn a little something about you every time. Never cease to amaze me.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.